want to welcome everybody for the swearing in of our new recruits. 11 individuals to either side. It's an exciting day for them. I'd like to introduce the Honorable Mayor Eric Papenfuse to help us with this swearing in, and also Chief Brian Airline, and I'm going to give the podium to Chief Brian Airline. I'm going to try doing this without
I'm going to try and talk so that I don't need to hold the mic up, but I want to thank everybody for coming, especially the families of our 11 new recruits that have come to watch your loved one be sworn in to the rank and file of the Harrisburg Bureau of Fire. It is your commitment behind them that really makes them succeed, and I think we said that quite a few times at HAC going through the academy. You know, we had an additional 5 weeks of training that we typically don't do, that we scatter that out, and so, you know, doing things over and over again, we've learned a lot of stuff. And one of the things that we've learned and decided to do was change up the training to keep them in the training mode for an additional 5 weeks so that they got the training that was required of them without having to really break things up over a 3-year period. And so we appreciate your commitment to your family members over these last 5 weeks. And I promise you, we're going to get them onto the 4-platoon 4-day work week here very, very soon, and that'll be great for both you and them, because I know that they are at the wit's end of doing a lot of classroom work and training. All that is, you know, so much required to be a professional firefighter. I want to introduce everybody to our new recruits, give you a little bit about them, where they came from, and that way everybody, the families, our firefighters, the media, all understand the vast backgrounds that we have in these 11 new recruits that really are top-notch. These are in no particular order. First we have, and as I mentioned your name, just step out one step, and then you can step back when we're done. Michael Kaiser comes to us from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. He was in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. He has no prior firefighting experience and was a server and bartender prior to coming to the Bureau of Fire. One of the things that you're going to see, we have a lot of military personnel, which we are proud of the military ranks that we have in the Harrisburg Bureau of Fire, not just in our new recruits, but the number of military folks that we have working in the ranks and officers of the Bureau. Next is Ryan Spangler, who's from Linglestown, Pennsylvania, just out the road. He's a veteran of the United States Air Force. And he comes to us from Arlington County Fire Department down in Virginia. And a fun story, I'm good friends with a captain that Ryan worked for, and he was told me he was very distraught that he was losing him, but was very congratulatory to the Bureau of Fire. So we're looking forward to his time with us. Next is William Kaufman. He hails from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. He is a veteran of the United States Army. He has 23 years of prior experience in the fire department, including a year or so stint with the FDNY, and he's a former police officer. As we say, he scored a couple extra points in the civil service test, so he was able to be a firefighter instead of a cop in Harrisburg. Next is Michael Gray. Michael comes to us from Long Island, New York. He's a live-in over at the Hampton Township Volunteer Fire Department across the river. He is a veteran of the U.S. Army. He's also a member of the South Central Pennsylvania Counterterrorism Task Force, and where he worked part-time, and also he is leaving his career in the military to come to the Bureau of Fire. Next up is Patrick Iverson. He comes from Willow Street, Pennsylvania, which is actually a town. It's not a street. That's where my wife's actually from. And you always say Willow Street. Well, where's Willow Street close to? It's actually outside of Lancaster. He has 10 years prior volunteer experience, and he actually worked for the Lancaster Police Department prior to coming to Harrisburg. He was a community service administrator down there. Next up, we have our female firefighter, which we are proud to have on our ranks, Alison Shattuck, and she comes to us from New Jersey. Alison has been very active in the Central Pennsylvania Volunteer Fire Service for many years. She was actually a live-in at a couple fire stations and was very active here at Squad 8 over on South 13th Street. She is also coming to us from another fire department. She's coming from Prince George's County, Maryland, where she spent a couple of years down there. So we are excited to have Alison on board as a career member now. Next, we have Nathan Lee. Nathan is born and raised right here in the city of Harrisburg. He is a veteran of the United States Air Force. He has no prior firefighting experience. However, he was a state parole agent and did most of his time right here in the city of Harrisburg. So he's very familiar with the streets, the layouts, and a lot of the folks in Harrisburg. We also have Jordan Stout, who comes from us from the city of Reading. He is a United States Army veteran, and he was also a volunteer firefighter both in Sweetara Township and Middletown, Pennsylvania. And he is retired from the United States Army. So this is his first step coming to us. Next, we have Tommy Probst, who comes from Northumberland, Pennsylvania. And Tommy is a United States Navy veteran, along with his wife, who's also joining us today with their 3 children. Tommy was a 11-year volunteer in Northumberland, Pennsylvania, prior to moving south for the military, and he also has just left his career in the United States Navy to join the ranks of the Bureau of Fire. Next up, we have Christopher Coleman, who comes from us from Paramus, New Jersey. He's a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. He has no prior firefighting experience. However, he has a long entrenched history, family history in the Hackensack, New Jersey Fire Department. His dad, Deputy Chief Coleman, joins us today. And he was a student at Pennsylvania State University before coming to us here in Harrisburg. And last but certainly not least is Brent Hill, who comes to us from Millersburg, Pennsylvania. He is a veteran of the United States Air Force, and he was a volunteer both in Elizabethville and Millersburg, Pennsylvania as a firefighter, and he was a plumber and retired out of the United States Air Force. At this time, I will turn the podium over to Honorable Mayor Eric Papenfuse to administer the oath of office to our 11 newest firefighter recruits in the city of Harrisburg.
Thank you, Chief. Let me just say before I do the oath, let me say what you didn't say, which is that it has been a very difficult year for the Harrisburg Fire Department and for the city. Not only did we lose Lieutenant DeVoe, but we had more than one devastating fatal house fire in this city. And through those tragedies, I believe we've grown stronger as both a bureau and as a city. And it's due to the dedicated service of each and every one here and the leadership of Chiefs Enterline and Souter. What an amazing group of new recruits we have. It's inspiring. I want to thank the families for your sacrifice and for allowing them to serve our city. I want to note as well that we stand in front of our newest piece of apparatus for the Harrisburg Fire Department, which I learned earlier today has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 crosslays, which basically means it has an extraordinary capacity to fight fire. And I also want to note that we've come an incredibly long way in a very short period of time. And it wasn't long ago that the city was reeling from Act 47, that our department was down to an all-time low of, I believe, 59, 58, 59 firefighters, and we are now back up to, with these new hires, 82. And that has all happened in the short span of just 3 years. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm proud of all that's being accomplished here, and we will continue to work together to make this city safe. So with that, I will stand in front of you. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, William Kaufman,
do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I shall support, obey, and defend.
that I shall support, obey, and defend
The Constitution of the United States of America.
the Constitution of the United States of America
And the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
And that I will, to the best of my ability,
And that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties of my office
to discharge the duties of my office
as a Harrisburg firefighter
as a Harrisburg firefighter
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations. Let's give him a round of applause.
So now with the mayor's help, we're going to present to them their front shields for their fire helmets, which has their badge numbers attached, and also their riding assignments. And we were, I should say we were down at the Capitol first thing this morning. We had a large flag that I told them was 4 by 8, but it ended up being 48 by 60 that we held up that's on tour of all the 50 state capitals across the country as part of a 9/11 remembrance. So we were out there this morning in a little bit of a misty rain holding that flag out, and I think they were all trying to vie for where they were going platoon-wise, so they're excited to find that out. Firefighter Nathan Lee, present it to you, will be going to Wagon 3 on the A Battalion. Gray. Gray. Firefighter Michael Gray is going to Wagon 4 on the D Battalion.
Congratulations.
Kaufman. Firefighter William Kaufman is going to Tower 2 on the B Battalion.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Firefighter Christopher Coleman is being assigned to the squad company on the Delta Battalion. Firefighter Michael Kaiser is being assigned to Wagon 4 on the A Battalion. Firefighter Jordan Stout will be going to Wagon 4 on the B Battalion. Firefighter Brent Hill will be going to Tower 2 on the A Battalion.
Congratulations to you.
Firefighter Ryan Spangler will be going to Wagon 4 on C Battalion. Firefighter Patrick Iverson will be going to Engine 1 on the B Battalion. Firefighter Tommy Probst will be going to Engine 2 on the B Battalion. And last but not certainly least, Alison Shattuck will be going to the squad company on C Battalion.
Okay, thank everybody for coming. That about does it for us. So you're more than welcome to stay for pictures. We encourage it. Walk around, meet everybody. Thanks again, and congratulations, guys. Good luck.